SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
At Community Bank, we're here for every part of your financial journey. From personal banking to growing your business or buying a home, our expert guidance makes it simple. We're more than a bank. We're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Pennsylvania.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. I'm Steve Azar, always grateful for my team at SuperTalk allowing me to do this into my 8th year. What started out as like, just what if we did this? Has been glorious for me, learning to listen, as I say. Speaking of Mississippi, the birthplace of America's music says it all. Go to visitmississippi.org and learn a whole lot about maybe things you don't know about us that has changed the world, especially in music, and how many folks were impacted by our great music here and our heritage and our culture. Today, very excited about my guest, is a very just crazy powerful voice in the professional athletic world. Though his story isn't your typical path to the major leagues, he actually found his way to the big leagues through the broadcast booth. A native of Madison, Mississippi. Here we go. He has spent his life around the game he loves, turning his passion for baseball and storytelling, a lot of Mississippi folks, born and raised telling stories that can really do it great like today's guest, into one of the most respected voices in Major League Baseball. He now is entering his 15th season with the Atlanta Braves radio network and his 7th as a regular play-by-play voice alongside Joe Simpson. Before calling games at the famous Truist Park, he honed his voice in the minors, spending 6 seasons calling games for teams like the Jackson Senators, Eugene Emeralds, and our Mississippi Braves. For me, growing up, it was the farm club for the Mets. Those years traveling from small-town ballparks to packed AA stadiums taught him not only about baseball, but also about persistence and love for the grind. Same as the music business. When he joined the Braves radio network in 2010, he quickly became a fan favorite, hosting the pregame and postgame shows back then, as well as the popular Braves Clubhouse Report on 680 The Fan. Going back even further, his journey to the majors began even in high school. Sportscaster Lee Adams handed him his first microphone. I want to talk to him about that for a local football broadcast. It had to start somewhere. His alma mater, Mississippi College, recognized him recently his achievements by naming him in 2014. That's recently to me. Distinguished Alumnus of the Year. That takes a lot to get that. Please welcome in the voice, Ben Ingram. What's up, Ben?
Steve, thanks for having me, man. Great to be with you today.
Oh, man, I love it. I appreciate you so much. Where are you? You in Atlanta right now?
I'm in Atlanta right now, yeah.
My sister lives there. Her husband's an orthopedic surgeon trained under my brother, who is the chief of staff at Memphis and Campbell's Clinic. So they're all into the sports and athletes and all that. And my nephew was the captain of Georgetown's baseball team for a couple years, finished at BYU and played in the minors shortly before he broke his hand. Just that grind of getting to the majors. And I want to dig into your past, especially growing up in Madison, and talk about where this love affair for what you're doing now and having a passion for something so young, getting to continue to do it like I get to do. I really appreciate still getting to live the dream like you're getting to do it. Let's talk about growing up in Madison and tell me when it all starts. Is this something that you sort of dug as a little bitty kid at 5, 6 years old, or was there a magic moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would, it's interesting. I think things went backwards for me. I think a lot of people feel like they have the tools for a certain industry or career, so they follow that. For me, it was backwards. I knew I wanted to broadcast sports and particularly baseball before I even knew if I was going to have a decent voice or not. I was probably 8, 9 years old, somewhere in that range, and had a big boom box where I would put the cassette tape in and I'd hit play and record and use the microphone on the boom box and I'd mute the television and I would record
Wow.
myself calling games on TV. And I just got the biggest kick out of being able to play it back and hear my own voice on there. And that's really where it started. It was kind of a bit of an adventure from that point because I was shortly after that's when I discovered the AM band of the radio and scrolling through and picking up stations in different markets and different cities and really taking me on a imaginary adventure when I was there in my room in Mississippi. I could hear stations from other cities and other states, and that was pretty mind blowing. So that was the direction that I wanted to go, and I just felt led that way and just kept pursuing it year after year after year, and it ended up working out for me.
As you're growing up, what are your folks saying along the way?
They were great. I think looking back on it, I never knew that the odds were against me, to be quite honest. And even if I had, I would have felt like I was the exception rather than the rule. I just had a deep feeling that this was going to work out, and had a deep feeling that this was going to play to get me exactly where I wanted to be. And I think a lot of that, to answer your question, was probably because of the confidence my parents put in me. I remember my dad telling me, he said, "You're the only one who's going to make up your mind as to how far you can go. You can have people tell you whatever they want to tell you, but you're the one who knows exactly how far you can take it, and you're capable of whatever you want to put in." It was all about the work. I think that was what they really instilled into me, is if I wanted to get to a certain place, you could work your way there. And I believed that, and I still believe that. I think that the more work you put into a thing, the better off you're going to be, the quote unquote luckier you're going to be. And I think merit goes a long way, and not just this industry, but a lot of industries. I didn't have a father or a family member in this industry. I didn't know
Sure.
anybody in this industry. It's an industry where there's a lot of nepotism, and I don't say that in a negative way because I know lots of people who have sons in this industry or fathers in this industry, but I didn't have that, and I felt like I could work my way to it, and that's exactly what happened.
That's the way it is in the music business. Everybody I know has worked really hard and continues to work hard to even be semi-relevant at my age. And I mean, really, that's been the magic bullet every time. And it's in anything that we do in life. But I love what you said. You didn't have a plan B. And when I talk to future artists that are really wanting to do it, they go, well, they sort of waffle. And you know that if you're going to waffle, you got one foot in, you really have no shot. And so that's interesting that this is what you were going to do. I love the fact. Now, as an athlete growing up, was it baseball?
I love playing everything. I played football, baseball, basketball. I wasn't any good at any of them, but I loved being on the field. And I just had a passion for the game, whether I was getting to play or getting to watch on television or go to a sporting event. I loved it. I just loved the environment. I loved the crowd that came with it. I love being able to listen to a game and hear the crowd on the radio or television. So that always drew me in. So around our house, my dad played college baseball.
Oh,
So
wow.
growing up, I mean, we loved every sport that was in season, whatever's in
Sure.
season, that's what we did. But baseball was always kind of my number one.
I mean, you think about it. I'm just going to tell you this now. So I'm glad you never thought this. There's plenty of us singer-songwriters, and if there's always room, sort of, if you make the right record and you do the right things and you're unique enough and honest enough. But there's not a lot of Major League Baseball teams. There's only a few. There's only how many slots are there? Not many. So I'm glad
30.
you weren't thinking about how many? 30?
Yeah.
30 slots in the whole world for Major League Baseball. So you think about what you've achieved, but then I know that look, I have a feeling that you're having the time of your life every time you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you've heard it said before, whether you think you can do something or whether you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, whether it be, and there are a lot of similarities, Steve, with my industry and your industry, because there's a lot of having to believe in yourself, and so much where if you kind of take a peek outside of your bubble, it's going to be easy to doubt your ability to get to where you want to be. But if you focus on just you and really working on you, and you kind of block out a lot of that noise, the odds just kind of fade into the background, and you can really work on what it is you want to work on, and step by step make your way there.
Ben Ingram, grateful to have him on today. Let's take a quick break. We got time for a little segment left, and I'll let him get some voice rest. Speaking of Mississippi, where he's from, visit Mississippi.org. Been with me since we started this crazy show. I appreciate them so much. Blessings. Stand by. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
You're my life. You're my
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. You know that nowadays, most people go online to look at a business before they spend their money. What if the online information about your business is incorrect, or even worse, not very flattering? If your online presence isn't great, you may be losing customers. STMM Digital's trusted and highly trained team is the answer. We're ready to work with you to help your business capitalize on the power of digital marketing. Call 601-991-2305 or go to stmmdigital.com to get started.
Here we go.
Rocking into a Mississippi Minute with play-by-play man, Atlanta Braves, Mississippi made, Ben Ingram. Let me ask you this, and I know this is hypothetical. I definitely heard you when you said there was nobody in your family that did this. I had nobody in my family do this. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. Could you go back and trim off a lot of fat of the mistakes or just the waste of time? I wouldn't change anything I've done, but I know that I could have probably saved myself a handful of years. I mean, looking back, would there have been some fat that you could have trimmed and gotten there quicker?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe. I think there's certainly a lot of trial and error with this, right? I learned so much from the failures that I had, more so than I had from the successes that I had. When I was first coming along, I graduated college in 2003, and that's really when I started my journey. Well, you think about if you were in my shoes now, or if you were a teenager then going out into college or college graduating into the real world now, it's a much different ballgame when it comes to technology, the internet. The world is a much smaller place than it was even 20 years ago. And there was a lot of trying to figure out, how do I communicate with people? How do I contact people? How do I find the right people and go to these job fairs or use the internet? How do I get my audio out there? There was a lot of learning when it came to that, editing my own highlight package and putting together highlight packages. I think that's where if I could go back, I'd probably have a lot more knowledge as to how to streamline that method of getting my stuff out there compared to the trial and error that was back in 03, 04, 05.
I love hearing that. That's awesome. Okay, now you are in a game where, to me, I don't know if there's another sport that has the wildest names. I mean, they're coming from all over, right?
Right.
So how do you prepare for that? And what's your secret as far? Do you have like little things over their names, like little things that remind you of that it's a hard A or a soft A, or or what this thing does this, or roll the R's? I mean, what's going on there?
You know what? I'll make it pretty simple. So when I'm writing out my scorebook, a lot of times I will write a guy's name down phonetically. So it might look like something completely different, but if it sounds like this, I'll write down how it sounds. And then I'll spend some time just looking at that. And by the time you say it 2 or 3 times, you got it, or at least I do. So that's my whole deal. If I see a guy's name who phonetically it looks completely different than it does in reality, I'll just stick to that phonetical spelling and hopefully get it right. But that's, these guys work really hard to get to the big leagues. So the least you can do is get their name right. And that's something that we work a lot on.
The difference between when you were at the minor leagues as a complete unit in a team and the difference in a major league team, and what gets you from AAA to being a permanent figure in the major leagues? What is
For a player?
for a player?
Well, a lot of guys, and this is what players will say. I mean, you think about the different classifications of Major League Baseball, but once you get beneath the big leagues, Triple A, Double A, High A, Low A, Rookie Ball, players will say if you are good enough to advance to Double A, then you're on the launching pad. You're right there. Double A has your younger prospects. You'll see prospects at Triple A sometimes, but once you get to Double A, they're ready to move you into the big league so long as there is an opening there.
Okay.
What it is consistency, and a lot of that is the mental side. If you're good enough to reach Double A or Triple A, you're probably talented enough to be in the big leagues. But can you do it today and tomorrow and next week and next month and 6 months from now? I think that's the big separator in the big leaguers and the guys in the lower levels, is that they are good consistently. And the mental game, which is such a grind and such a challenge, the pressure
Sure.
to be good, the pressure to produce, the pressure to fill out a spot on a roster and earn your paycheck. That's what those guys have gotten so good at. And I think the guys, there's a saying in baseball, it's hard to get to the big leagues, it's harder to stay. And I think that's what those guys learn, is the consistency and the mental aspect of being at the top of their game physically and mentally.
Boy, I mean, I've been blessed like you have to meet some crazy people that they've achieved such crazy moments that you were watching as a kid or watching whatever. There's a call and there's a moment in history in sports. Both had to happen. What I'm getting at is I'm like pals with Michael Ruzioni, Rizzo from Miracle on Ice. I mean, they
Right.
making a movie about it, calling it Miracle. And then it was Al Michaels, remember, Do You Believe in Miracles? These moments in sports, Jim Nantz, how many times have we heard it? Who was it growing up? You can't get out of your head that moment in sport and that call on the play when you were growing up as a kid.
There's so many. There's so many. And just to give you a short list, I mean, I think first and foremost, I'd say the play that I've watched maybe more times than any other play when it comes to attaching a call to a play is Kirk Gibson's home run in 1988 and Vin Scully's call. It was an absolute masterpiece. It was a moment that was Hollywood-esque. It looked like something out of a movie. And the call that went with it was a level of perfection that you rarely see. I thought it was just a master class, top to bottom, in creativity and delivery from a guy who I consider to be the best baseball broadcaster of all time, in Vin Scully. I think about other moments of. I was a major student of the history of our game. I remember, I wasn't around in the 50s, but the Bobby Thompson home run and Russ Hodges saying the Giants won the pennant, the Giants won the pennant. Thinking about Hank Aaron's number 715th home run. These are all big moments that happened before I was born, but I remember listening to them because I had the means to do as much. I had a videotape that had some of the best calls of all time, and I'd put that in the VCR and listen to it. The Miracle on Ice call is a great example as well. But these are all calls that I remember listening to as a kid and thinking I'd love to be able to do that, because the player, you can't control the moment. The player controls the moment. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's your job as a play-by-play man to almost immediately match the moment with your words.
Is it ever prepped in your mind? Or do you ever like the guy trying to make the last shot in the game and you always imagine that the last whatever because you're the last word, like connected to this moment in history. Did you ever sort of prep yourself or what I might say? Or is there no way in the moment that you're going to stick to some script?
Yeah, I couldn't. There's no way I could do that. What do you, I'll tell you what you do. You can sense when a moment is coming. If it's the bottom of the ninth and we've got the tying run at third and the winning run at second, and there's one out, a base hit could win the game. I think there's a heightened sense of awareness where you're one play away from something big happening. So be ready to nail the call. I don't think I could think about words. There might be some times where a word will pop into my mind and I'll think to myself, I'd like to use that one day, but it's never written in front of me. It's never planned. I think what comes out is what comes out. And I think you can understand this, given the industry that you're in. I never want to say the same thing. I don't want to. People ask me all the time, "Do you have a home run call?" And I don't have a home run call. And the reason is I've never seen two home runs that are identical. I don't want to call a home run that wins a game to send a team to the playoffs versus a home run when you're down 13-1. I don't want to say the same thing for both of those things. And the creativity is something that I really get into with what I do, just like a songwriter would. And I want to attach uniqueness to every call. I want every play to have its own unique call that goes along with it. So that's what I focus in on. And to me, being on radio as opposed to television, it's about the details. It's about description. It's about painting that entire picture. And I love the creative aspect of that. And you just know that when a big moment's coming, you just want to be ready for it. So when it happens, you're able to you've thought about it. You know exactly how you want to approach it and let it come out of your mouth however it comes out.
As we've always said, you see it on the radio. I mean, you can see it happening. Do you ever get over, like, oh my, do you get worked up in there? You get worked up. I've heard you get worked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of times, and good and bad. There are times where there'll be moments so big or games so big that you make the call and you feel like your lungs have collapsed. I mean, you just exhausted from it. I called the Peach Bowl last year. It was Texas and Arizona State. The game went to multiple overtimes. And when that game ended, I didn't want to speak for like 2 days. I poured everything into that broadcast. Then you have the flip side of that, where you have a season like the Braves just had. This is a season where they underachieved, and there's a lot of frustration that you see on the field and amongst the coaching staff, and that gets into the booth as well, because you want the team to do well. The better they do, the more fun we have doing our job. And certainly you go through some down years, down stretches where it takes a toll, and you're still looking for reasons of positivity to throw in there in the midst of negativity.
Let's take a quick break. I'm loving chatting with Ben Ingram. What a voice, as you guys can tell. Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time in my life with Morgan Freeman, and I feel like I'm in the room with another version of that right now. It's incredible. Incredible. God gave him this voice, and what he's doing with it is just insane. He's a Mississippi man. What else can we say? Storytellers from Mississippi, they're the best. And he's allowed to take it over across the Georgia state line. It's okay. Visit Mississippi.org. Believes in everything that our man Ben Ingram is doing out there. He's one of our talent pools, one of our treasures. Go to visit Mississippi.org, plan a road trip with your loved ones. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
From the Zebra in a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
When the game's on the line, I know
Rocking into a
what I
Mississippi
want.
Minute with play-by-play man, Atlanta Braves, Mississippi made, born, raised, Madison, Mississippi, Ben Ingram. I really appreciate taking time. The last thing he needs to be doing is wasting his voice on me, but I appreciate it because I know he's got to preserve it. That's how he makes his living, that voice of his. Speaking of making a living, once you're done making a living for the week, plan a long weekend, and go to visit Mississippi.org and go somewhere in Mississippi you hadn't been to in a while. We'll have a great float at the Rose Bowl this year, celebrating the birthplace of America's music. We have the Muppets, B.B. King, everything to do with who we are. You'd be proud of that. Tune into the Rose Bowl parade. All things Visit Mississippi. All right, Ben Ingram is my guest today. Ben, do you get on your knees every night or in the morning and just go, thank you for this voice? Let's keep talking about this because you have got a voice, my man. I mean, it's special, and it's you. It's you. It's
Right.
insane. And was there an alfalfa moment where, like, I had an alfalfa moment when I used to lead our church growing up, and I was, 12, 13 years old, and you're making the change. And so my voice had to turn into something else more mature. So when did your change happen? Were you a little alfalfa-ish, or has this voice always been this deep, majestic voice since as far back as you can remember?
It goes back a ways. My mom tells a story. I don't remember this, but my mom tells a story about me singing in the church choir. I think she said I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Obviously
And
not a soprano. No, he
no,
wasn't.
no,
No.
And the choir director came to her and said, "Your son's voice is a lot deeper than most kids his age." And she didn't tell me that till in the last 4 or 5 years, actually. But I remember the first time somebody complimented me on my voice. I was in junior high, and I remember thinking, That's so neat that somebody said that, because they have no idea what it is that I want to pursue." And I knew I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. So that's something that I had to continue to work on. I always had a voice that I felt was unique and different, but I really had to work on how I spoke. I was a I've told people before, I don't mind at all. In fact, I embrace people calling me Southern. I didn't want to sound like I was uneducated. I want to sound like I'm from Mississippi. I want to sound Southern. I want to sound country. I just want to make sure people know that I'm educated. And that's something that my first mentor in broadcasting really taught me about finishing words and making sure that you're projecting and that kind of thing. And so I learned a lot of that. So there was always the voice. I just felt like I was a lazy speaker up until probably about 16, 17 years old.
Interesting, interesting. So let's jump fast forward to now. You and Joe, the dynamic, and you're in there. How long did it take for you guys to look at each other and go, "Oh, we got this"?
Not long. I mean, the funny thing is, I look at all the guys that I've worked with, and there's some of them who are like family members almost. Before Joe, I was doing games with Don Sutton. I felt like Don was my baseball father. He took me under his wing in ways that he didn't have to. I mean, this guy's in the Hall of Fame, and
Yeah.
he's been broadcasting for so long, but he was so good to me. And that happened with Joe as well. I broadcast with Joe, and I feel like I'm broadcasting with my older brother. And I never had an older brother, but it's as if Joe is almost like my older brother.
Yeah.
I also do some games with Darren O'Day, who's about the same age as me. He played 15 years in the big leagues. And I feel like I'm calling a game with my best friend when I'm calling games with him. So you're right. That chemistry is so important when you're working 162 games. I mean, you're going to find out pretty quickly if you got good or bad chemistry. But Joe is such a intelligent baseball man. He's so smart. And I learned so much from him, the way that he watches the game, the way that he talks about the game. And I'm just so blessed to get to work with him and learn from him as I have over the years.
Y'all are fantastic together. I got to tell you something. It's a marriage that's been meant to be, that's been waiting to happen for generations. I'm telling you right now, I love it. One of my dear, dear, dear friends who's never missed our charity event, we're going on our 15th year, is Reggie Smith. And as a baseball player, he's unbelievable. I'm surprised he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, especially what he's contributed after the game. He's had 1,000 D1 scholarship that he's been a part of training them since young kids, and then over 26 major leaguers he's trained. And I just feel like they're waiting on him to die before they put him in. And I know he's a five tools guy, and he did everything really good, and not one thing just crazy great. And also he played baseball in a time where it wasn't so perfect. It was almost Green Book moments, the movie Green Book,
Right.
where different hotels or different this and that, and he lived some of that. And anyway, I think about him and just how grateful he is for what he's been given. And there's never ever a complaint from him. And he talks about the past from a long time ago. Anyway, I'm just thinking about baseball players in general I've gotten to know over the time. Brett Saberhagen. We actually share the same birthday, same day, same year, everything. Anyway, we've had some fun together, but I've got to know some great baseball players and just the stories they tell. But the bottom line I'm getting to the point is they love broadcasters. I don't think they love umpires. I don't like refs and all that. I like them before they put the stripes on and then something happens. But they always talk about the calls that have been made. They live for it. And now it's so easy to access it with social media. You guys are it's everywhere now. You don't have to hunt it down on a major network or just ESPN when you and I were growing up and all that. But it's everywhere. Let's talk about the storytelling of Mississippi. I feel like we're the best storytellers in the world. We've proven that. But in sports, it's kind of different. How do you sort of approach storytelling when it's players you're dealing with, Do you do a little research at everything? And then I want you to tell me, what do you do between the moments when the game gets so slow? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the storytelling, there's a ton of preparation that goes into it because, especially in this day and age of baseball, so many numbers and statistics and percentages are tied to players, and that can tell the story to a degree. But I think after a while that gets boring. I want our players to be more than their ERA or their home run total or their RBI total. I mean, these guys are individuals; they're not robots. And I think that when I can tell entertaining stories, fascinating stories about our team or even the other team, it really endears our listeners more so to our broadcast. Because when you are coming to our broadcast, I feel like people who are listening regularly are getting more than just the score and what's happening with the team. I think they're learning. And I think it's our job. I mean, this is a form of show business. It's our job to not only inform people, but to entertain people. And I think when you're giving listeners information and entertainment, that they're getting everything that they want. I think you can do that a lot through storytelling and put your own twist in it and give it some drama and some humor or whatever else it may be. But I love getting to do that. We have an endless amount of stories we can tell every single night. There's 26 guys on each roster. There's every ballpark we're in has a different story. The managers have their own unique stories. The umpires do, et cetera, et cetera. You could go on and on and on. So if you can imagine, I'm sitting there at a blank canvas, if you can get the illustration, and I can just paint with whatever I want to paint with. I can take it over any direction that I would like. And with baseball, that's so unique compared to basketball or football or whatever, we're playing a series. I've got 3 or 4 games to tell these stories rather than just one game. If we have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Mets, if there's something that I missed on a Friday, I can get to it on Saturday or Sunday. So I have all this time to weave all this in. And to me, that's the beauty of it all. It's not just the research and doing it, but it's also the delivery of it. And you have plenty of time to go over exactly how you want to deliver those stories. And when you can weave that in with what's happening with the game and the action, I think that's what really separates broadcasters.
Wow. Ben Ingram, grateful to have him on today. Let's take a quick break. We got time for a little segment left, and I'll let him get some voice rest. Speaking of Mississippi, where he's from, visit Mississippi.org. Been with me since we started this crazy show. I appreciate them so much. Blessings. Stand by. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
My bag's unpacked and I ain't just passing through. Baby, I'm gonna be good loving you. Yeah, baby, I'm gonna be good. Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. 'Tis the season to be spending lots of dough for holiday gifts, and there are ways to maximize your credit card rewards while spending away. Putting your holiday shopping on a rewards credit card lets you earn valuable rewards for your purchases. The best time to earn a credit card welcome offer is when you know you have upcoming expenses. If you apply and get approved, it will likely offer a sign-up bonus with a spending requirement. And check your credit card shopping offers. Many credit card companies like Chase, American Express, and Citi provide targeted card offers to their cardholders, which they can use to save money at various stores and retailers. Another way to get extra rewards is to use shopping portals and rewards credit cards while shopping simultaneously. An online shopping portal is a website, app, or browser extension that gets a commission when it sends shoppers to a retailer's website and they make a qualifying purchase. The shopping portal will share that commission with you as cash back or another type of reward. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
My name is Sonny.
Yeah, you hot rod cocky, and you stand there like a man and say, there ain't nothing strong enough to stop me, until some beautiful girl bare-legged and sandals.
Got a little segment left, but with a big voice, big man in baseball, play-by-play Atlanta Braves. Ben Ingram's been joining me today. I really appreciate him taking the time. I could just sit here just closing my eyes and just listening to his voice. It's incredible. I'd like to cuss right now, but I can't cuss on my show. I had a couple words I wanted to say, but that described it. But no. Visit Mississippi.org. I'll describe that. Plan a road trip to parts of Mississippi you hadn't been to in a while. Man, I'm telling you, you'll be blown away. Follow the country trail markers, the blues trail markers, the freedom trail, the riders trail. It's pretty dang amazing. And you'll go, all these people are from Mississippi? It's insane. Ben, are there quiet moments that are as potent as anything you can say? And when do you decide to go, okay, let's let it breathe?
There's no doubt about that. I think that the crowd can tell the story as well or better than I can sometimes. And you know those moments. I think you get a feel for them, whether we're at home and it's good or whether on the road and it's bad for the Braves. When you've got a stadium that is losing their minds and I can feel the floor under my feet vibrating from what they're doing, that to me is the time to finish the call, sit back and let it breathe. And that's one of my favorite things to do, because I love when the play happens, nail the call, let it go, and let them do their thing, because there are few things as magical as 50,000 people going crazy over what just happened on the field.
Yeah. And we talked about earlier, and sometimes as an entertainer, and you're entertaining up in that, and you're also being informative. So you're not only entertaining, you're having to pass on information everybody needs to know, especially when they're listening to it. They rely on you to be their television, right? Their visual as well. I think it's just important to know that there's those magic moments when the unexpected happens, and that allows you to be a better entertainer and to be more informative. Those are the magic things when you can't ever plan for something that happens, and sometimes it throws you a little bit. It's a curveball coming at you, pardon the pun. And it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but then it opens the door. The longer you've been doing this, you can't tell me that you're not just more relaxed. And what you come up with when you're not expecting it, even when there's technical difficulties or anything that's weird that could have flustered you 25 years ago, those are the moments for entertainment now, don't you think? Like your best moments.
Absolutely. I think so too. And what you are, when you're behind the microphone, your voice isn't the only instrument that you have available to you. I mean, you think about the composer of a symphony or an opera. He's got multiple players in front of him, multiple instruments in front of him. It's the same thing for what we do, be it my voice, be it my partner, be it the crowd noise, be it whatever else. And you're getting to conduct the entire thing. I think to me, you're getting to blend all those things, all those emotions into one broadcast and send it down the microphone and down the line. And that is the total package for the listener. So you just want to take everything that's in the ballpark, send it down the microphone and down the line and to our listeners and put them there, make them feel like they're there at the game. And to me, that's what's as much fun about all this as anything.
So you did the Peach Bowl last year. You're switching sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's that transition like?
Football is totally different from baseball. Baseball, like I said, we play 162 games. If you have a bad game, you got another game coming up tomorrow. If you don't get too high, you don't get too low. I mean, 162 games in 182 days is what we do. So you're just kind of riding the wave. Football is one game, and especially a game like that where somebody's season's coming to an end. And I felt like it's the difference in driving in regular street traffic versus driving on the Autobahn. That's the best way I can explain it. Football is such a power punch of emotion, especially for a game like that, where every single call, every single swing, every single play can send the game a different direction, and you're trying to meet that with all the emotion and all the energy that you have. Baseball, you're a little bit more reserved because unless it's the postseason, you're going to play again tomorrow. But I think those are the two different speeds or paces, you might say, for those two games.
Any crazy rituals that you have, superstitions, anything like that before you kick into your mode and game mode?
I do have one that I try to do, and it's not crazy, but it's just more of a routine. I hate getting to the end of the game and being hungry. I don't want to eat during a game. So what I will do is I eat about an hour to 45 minutes before the first pitch, and I'll eat a really big dinner before I go on the air, and that way I'm good to go. I don't want to eat right before I go on the air, and I certainly don't want to
Okay,
eat
how much
while
are
I'm
you
on the
eating
air.
before? I'd fall asleep on stage if I ate anything. I was going to have an iced coffee before I called you, and I thought about it, and I said, I talk too fast as it is. I got to slow down. So I said, not a good idea. So I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to have my iced coffee now. But I really appreciate you taking the time in a Mississippi Minute with me, brother. I appreciate it.
Steve, thanks so much. It means a lot that I can go on with you because being from Mississippi is very important to me. So thanks so much for having
I
me.
love that. I love hearing that. Ben Ingram, folks, play-by-play Atlanta Braves and beyond football. Great games, big bowl games, Beach Bowl. The career he has made via being inspired on Mississippi soul. That's how it happens. What a storyteller. What a career. And it's just getting started. Speaking of just getting started, just get your weekend started. Think about planning a road trip somewhere in Mississippi, like I said, you hadn't been to. Try the Gulf Coast this weekend. They're glorious. Sunsets, sunrises, glorious. I'm Steve Azar. We'll see you later. You've been on Super Talk Mississippi. Later on.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.